What's going on, guys? This is Davis Visuals, and you just picked up a GH5 and you're trying to find out the best settings to use for either a music video or a wedding video. I do both, and I'll be happy to share with you guys the exact settings that I use for either or. So let's hop into it. So now that we're in the GH5, let's go through the settings and then you guys can copy everything that I have. So the first tab, exposure mode, let's put it on manual. And then everything else is the same except for the master pedestal level. I have that at +6. Everything else is the same. So on the second tab here, my recording format is MOV. The recording quality is basically depending on what you're shooting. So right here I keep it on 1920 by 1080, 60 frames a second for weddings because the footage is too heavy for my laptop if I use the 60 frame at 4K quality. So I'll do that for my weddings, and then if I want to shoot music videos or interview work, I'll do 4K at 24 frames a second, 10-bit. But another cool thing with this is that you have the option to do, if you scroll down one, you got a variable frame rate, which allows you to go from 24 to 60 back and forth, which is usually what I do, but that's at 8-bit. So I'll put it on that setting right there, and what you need to do is come back over to the first tab and turn variable frame rate on. Now for me, I have it to where there's a shortcut on the top here. I just click this button, and then I'm allowed to go through 24 and 60 back and forth, depending on the shooting that I'm doing. But what you'll need to do is come back up here to the first tab, and after you open the variable frame rate option, you scroll down here to set, and then you can change it to 60 or 24. Now the warning here is that if you have it at 60 or anything other than 24, it'll actually take the audio off. So just know whatever it is that you're shooting, if you want to keep the audio, I suggest you go into the settings and actually set it to where you're shooting 60 frames in a different mode, which keeps the audio as well. So variable frame rate will take that off. But I also, when I have it up here, it's a lot quicker because then I can click it, do performance shots in 24, and then click it again and change it to 60 if I want to do anything B-roll wise or some slow motion stuff. And then pretty much everything else is the same there except for the photo style. So I have my photo style set to natural if I'm doing interview work. Pretty much that's about it, because for weddings I'll go over to Cinelike D and I'll change the settings for that and for music videos. And I'll explain why in a second, but if you want to grab these natural settings, -5, -3, +5, -5, and 0. Now we will go over to Cinelike D, and for music videos and for wedding videos, I want this to be as flat as possible so I can grade and do with it what I want instead of the camera doing the work for me. So it would be -5, -3, +5, -5 on Cinelike D. And then we'll set that. Luminance level, 64, the 1023. Metering mode is in the middle there. And I think that everything else here is the same. So now we'll come up here to exposure and ISO increments 1/3, extended ISO on. What that does for you is, the GH4 made it to where you can only go down to ISO 200. But if you put those settings on, now you can go up here to ISO and you can actually change it from 200 down to 100, 125, 160, and so on. So you get a little bit more to work with there. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't do anything with autofocus. So if I was to just turn this camera on, and let's say I wanted to shoot an interview, what I would do is I would come up here to the first thing, do exposure M, keep everything else the same, and this is what the settings would be for me for interview. MOV, 4K 24, and pretty much that's all I would have to change because the photo style is usually already set on my camera to either Cinelike D or for neutral or natural. So that's interview stuff. Now if I was to go back and do the settings specifically for music videos, I would come over here to the recording quality and I would change it to the 8-bit with a variable frame rate, so that I can go back and forth between 24 and 60. So my performance shots would be at 24, then click up here, boom, and then go to 60. Now you can go through the menus and you can customize these buttons. There's buttons all over that you can actually customize yourself. And I can do a video on that if you guys would like in the future. Let me know if you want that. But like I said, if you were to go over here to the variable frame rate option, you can just go to set and change it to 60. So the last thing that I would do is for wedding shooting, I would come up here to the recording quality on the second tab, and that would be here at 10-bit 60 frames a second. It gives me the audio, and it's always going to be possible for me to put everything in slow motion. And that is pretty much it. All the other settings are the same that I already showed you earlier, and now you should be able to go. Now that you got those settings locked in, go ahead and put them into your camera, go outside and practice before you go on any professional shoot. And check out the description. Maybe you can see some of my work and I can show you exactly what I get from using those exact same settings. If you like this video, go ahead and like it. Follow me for more. If you got questions, ask them. If you have something you want to know, ask me and I will teach you. My name is Doug from Davis Visuals, and thank you guys for watching.